Welcome to this simple soft pastel video tutorial on creating a couple of different autumn tone gum leaves. To start with, we're just going to create a gum leaf on a piece of white A4 paper. It's just a bit of a practice one. And to begin with, we're going to just draw on the shape of the gum leaf, and I'm using a brown pastel chalk pencil there to draw that on with. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of value with some yellow chalk. I've got two different tone yellows. Then I'm going to add in some greens, and I'm just kind of colouring in here and there on the leaf where I think the colours might stand out the nicest, thinking of just the different colours that a gum leaf could be. Adding in some brown tones, so just layering it on a little bit here and there, some light and dark values of the colours that you've chosen to use. In some dark greens and some light greens, and sort of keeping that vein shape in the middle, that curve line there as part of your movement in when you're applying the pastels. Next thing I'm going to do is, once I've got enough chalk on there, I'm going to just blend that in with my finger. And I might change fingers and wipe my finger every now and then just because it might get a bit too muddy. And I'm just going with the shape of the leaf and blending all that colour in until I'm happy with the look of the leaf. So just keep working on it, keep adding bits of light and dark, highlight and shade where you might want it to be, and just creating that gum leaf the way that you would like it until you're happy with it. There's no rules with this. You can have it however you want. If you picked up any number of gum leaves, they're all going to be different. So, it's just a matter of playing with it until you're happy with it and just blending it along with your finger. And you can keep coming back in and adding highlights. And it's good to get that sort of vein standing out down the middle and also around the edge of the leaf. On the top, you might have the outline just a little bit thicker with that dark chalk. And then on the other side, you might have gone around that edge with white, but then underneath the white, you might want just that little hint of dark tone just to help it to pop out of the page. Once I'm finished this, I'm going to just go around the outside of it with some dark grey just to make the gum leaf stand out a little bit nicer on the paper. And as I said, this is just a practice one. This is just a soft blended gum leaf, but you can see how the colours blend together and look quite real in their colour tones and in their shape and texture that the leaf is looking like as you're creating it. So just go around the edge of that with some dark now, and you can turn the paper around to make it easier for you, whichever way is more comfortable for you to apply the chalk, and just turn it around, and then we're just going to blend this grey out a little bit with our finger when we're finished, and then that way we'll have our nice practice gum leaf on our piece of A4 white paper. Next up, I'm going to do another gum leaf, and that's going to be on some pastel paper. There's different varieties of qualities of pastel papers that you can buy. You can just ask your local art shop and they'll be more than happy to help advise you on that. Different qualities of paper hold the chalk differently, so that's something to think about. Simple autumn tone gum leaf with soft pastels. Have a think about your tools and equipment that you need. Here we've chosen our colours for our gum leaf, which is some 2 tones of yellow, 2 tones of green, a white, a brown and a grey. We've got some pastel pencils which help add the little finer details, some suitable paper to draw on, and an old paintbrush, a lead pencil, a pencil sharpener, and of course some scrap paper just to practice on. To get started, you need to draw the outline shape of your gum leaf. I did this using a white pastel pencil. You can also use a white pastel chalk, and just sketch on the rough shape that you want your gum leaf to be, with some the vein down the middle and the stalk at the end, just to help guide the shape and the movement of the leaf. I've next added a little bit of the lighter yellow shade, and I've just coloured it in a slight little bit there and done a little bit of the movement with that chalk there, and then I'm going to blend that in later. You can see here, like in the practice leaf that we did earlier, I've started applying some more colours. I've got some green happening here and some brown, and I'm just keeping with the shape of the gum leaf. Even when you apply the chalk, apply it in the same shape that the gum leaf is moving in. That will just help it to look more realistic. Now we've got a few colours on there and a little bit of chalk on there, we can start blending it with our finger. And this paper's a lot more textured, so the blending will be a lot nicer and look a lot more realistic as I do blend it on with my finger. We can see here now with more colours and more blending that the gum leaf has really started to come to life and take its shape. Adding in some more layers now with the darker green and the lighter green and the brown, and just putting that vein down the middle a little bit more so it stands out. It's really helping this leaf to come to life and to get to where we want it to be. Just keep adding those colours like you did on the practice one until you're happy with the movement and the depth of colour and the different highlights and shading. Just keep adding and blending, and keep remembering to wipe your finger in between, otherwise we don't want to end up with mud. So we're getting towards the end of our leaf now and getting to finishing it off, and we're just adding some highlights using a little bit of white and lighter yellow and then blending it in just where the light might be shining or the leaf might not have as much colour on it, and just keep adding those until you're really happy with that finished look. And you can see now this leaf is really now coming to life, and I'm getting to the stage where I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking. I'm just going to add in some different little textures and little dots with a pastel pencil. I'm using the dark brown one and some white there to add in some little dots just to make it look more lifelike. Next up, I added that grey around the outside of that leaf just to make it pop out. And you can see now we have our finished gum leaf. So we've had our practice gum leaf and then our gum leaf on our pastel paper. I hope you found that helpful and that you have a happy time drawing gum leaves.